What a gutsy, gritty win by the 49ers as they lead the NFC West at 3-0. This was a gritty game on all phases. The 49ers showed resilience and ultimately, were able to win this game. But, man, I think it was about exactly how I envisioned this game going. Slow offenses, more of a defensive game for both teams. And in the end, the 49ers somehow, come away with the win after Mac Jones's interception, after Dominique Pooney let Calais Campbell just break through the line of scrimmage. Dominique Pooney held Calais Campbell, and ultimately, obviously, given how backed up the 49ers were in their end zone, led to that safety. So following the safety, my confidence in the 49ers winning this game was probably at an all-time low, just given the entirety of how that game was going. But, they figure out a way to stop Arizona on that third down. Massive PBU by or massive pass deflection by Upton Stout. I believe it was on Zay Taylor when Kyler threw it to him on that third down. That actually would have ended the game. Upton Stout comes away with a massive pass deflection. 49ers get the ball back. Mac Jones makes up for the interception that he had. He led the 49ers down, and the 49ers ended up, barely escaping that one from the Eddie Pinheiro 35-yard game-winning field goal. What a game. A lot of, bad things to take away from this game. I'm not going to lie. Nick Bosa got hurt. He had the knee injury very early in the game. Kyle Shanahan did tell reporters following this game that Nick Bosa avoided an ACL injury, but the team needs to do further tests to determine the extent of the injury. So that's obviously not ideal. I didn't even think, I couldn't really tell what exactly occurred on the play that he got hurt. I know which play it was. I just couldn't figure out what exactly happened with him getting hurt other than him getting pretty much landed on by one of the Cardinals players. But it seems pretty, I would say, a medium level of being significant. I mean, obviously, knowing that the 49ers automatically ruled out an ACL injury, it tells me that it's definitely something, that's not going to be day to day. So hopefully everything's good with Nick Bosa. I'm sure we're going to learn more tomorrow. Shanahan did mention he's getting tests done to determine the extent of the injury, but that wasn't ideal. Nick Bosa getting hurt. The 49ers just struggled so badly offensively in this game. They've really kind of struggled all season long with scoring the ball in the red zone. I mean, one of my keys going into this game for the 49ers to win was red zone execution, and they were terrible. They got stuffed on one drive on a 4th and goal. They ran it like 2 or 3 times to Christian McCaffrey, and he just simply could not get it in. The 49ers offensive line got dominated today by the Arizona Cardinals defensive line. And the Cardinals defensive line is not that good. And knowing that the 49ers got dominated by them there, it's not good going forward. It doesn't give me any hope that this offensive line is headed in the right direction, just based off of how this game went. I thought Connor Colby today, obviously, he wasn't at 100%, but Connor Colby didn't play well. He got dominated for a good portion of this game. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it seems like there are injuries every freaking week with this team. Mykel Williams got banged up as well. He had the wrist injury. He was able to tape his wrist and come back. Mykel Williams is getting better every week. He was a phenomenal run defender again in this game. getting tackles in the backfield. The 49ers hit on that draft pick. I mean, he is doing exactly what the 49ers drafted him for, and that is to be able to set the edge and be a good run defender on the edge. I think his pass blocking is going to come naturally. He's going to get better at that naturally as time goes on. But Michael Williams, phenomenal game once again for the 49ers defense. I thought the 49ers defense played fine. I think they gave up a 29-yard run by, I want to say it was Trey Benson. I thought the 49ers defense was fine. I think they definitely played better than the offense, without a doubt. Obviously when Nick Bosa went out, Bryce Huff came in. He had a sack or two in this game. I know he had the sack on the final play going into the half or going into halftime. So he came in and I thought played well. Obviously, Nick Bosa being out, I would imagine maybe for a couple weeks is what I'm just going to say off rip. Just giving that, something just doesn't sit well with me knowing that they already ruled out an ACL injury. I mean, obviously that's good, but it's clearly a pretty significant injury. He was walking on it gingerly. He did do a thumbs down to somebody in the stands. It could have been his family. I'm not entirely sure, but knowing that he's going to be out for a couple weeks is not ideal. Obviously, we'll know the extent of the injury probably tomorrow, maybe even later tonight, depending on when the tests come back. But yeah, I mean, I thought the defense as a whole played okay. I think Upton Stout, he played fine, I think, for the most part. I mean, I think you could probably argue that he played pretty well, just given that big third down stop on Zay Jones late in the game to give the 49ers the ball back to ultimately, that was like the biggest play of the game. That third down and 7 or 8, I believe it was. Upton Stout just makes a hell of a play on Zay Jones. And the 49ers get the ball back there. If Upton Stout doesn't break that pass up, the 49ers don't win this game. So that was arguably the biggest play of the game. I thought Upton Stout played fine overall, but I think you could argue that he played, you could go from fine to good just based off of that play. I will say this. I think Upton Stout played a lot better than last week. Renardo Green, he's getting better. He's still a very good young cornerback, but I mean, again, I've said this in multiple other, recap videos. It's just going to take time with a guy like Renardo Green. He had the penalty on, I think it was Zay Jones again in the end zone. Renardo got to him way too soon, ultimately led to that pass interference. And then the Cardinals ended up being on like the 49ers 5-yard line. I want to say that was the drive where Trey McBride scored. But yeah, I mean, you can't have that. Obviously where the 49ers were, or where the 49ers ultimately, let the Cardinals offense get to, deep in 49ers territory on the 5. I mean, obviously it led to a Cardinals score. You just can't have that. So there's going to be some things to clean up, like there is every week. But I think Renardo Green is getting better. But there are a couple plays, it seems like every week, where it's just like, man, you can't have that. And that pass interference in the end zone there was one of them. I want to say that was on a third down as well. I mean, I guess in that situation, it sucks because obviously when you give up that pass interference, the Cardinals are pretty much at, I mean, they're inside the 5-yard line. It's not like you're giving up a play, you're giving up a pass interference when the Cardinals are at the 50 and, the pass interference happens at like, I don't know, the 30-yard line or whatever. That just put the Cardinals in a perfect position to score, is basically what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, I mean, can't have that. But at the end of the day, I think he's getting better. He's doing good things. So I can't be too mad at that. Um, but yeah, man, defense overall, I think Upton Stout, Michael Williams, those guys stood out to me the most. Obviously, Fred Warner um, had that batted down pass late in the game from Kyler Murray. I want to say that was on a third down as well. I could be wrong, but yeah, Fred Warner's good every game. I thought D Winters played it okay for the most part. I didn't see too many big flashy plays from D Winters. I'm sure, going and looking back at some of the highlights of this game, um, I'm sure there's going to be some things that kind of stand out. But there's so many guys that you're watching, um, as the game kind of just goes on. It's hard to kind of zero in on one guy. Easy to talk about the guys that obviously really stood out, but didn't really see too. I mean, D Winters played extremely well last week in New Orleans. I think he had a pretty good game overall this game. So didn't really see anything that he did that was like, what the heck are you doing type of thing. So I think D Winters had a good game for the most part. I think the biggest thing for me is with Renardo Green is it's like he hasn't trusted his technique at all this year. Um, on that pass interference call that I was just talking about, he lost track of like the wide receiver, and then he like panics. And obviously that led to the pass interference call. So again, I mean, he's gonna get better. But that's something that to me is standing out more than anything. It's just like he's not trusting his technique for some reason. So I don't know. I think for the most part, again, I mean, we're expecting growing pains with this defense, and Renardo Green is going to be a part of that. So, um, yeah, offensively, man, Ricky Pearsall, my gosh, 8 catches for 117 yards. He had a disgusting catch. I want to say it was like a 40-yard gain. I know you guys know which one I'm talking about. It was on the sideline. I mean, an incredible catch. Probably Ricky Pearsall's best catch in the NFL. He was heavily contested and somehow still was able to come down with it. That was an incredible catch. So shout out to Ricky Pearsall, 8 catches for 117 yards. I started him in fantasy today, and he put me up almost 20 points. So shout out to Ricky Pearsall. I mean, it was a given, right? Like Jawan Jennings was out today. Knowing that Kittle's out, 49ers were slim at wide receiver as is. I knew he was in for a lot of targets, and obviously he was, and that led to him having a monster game. Christian McCaffrey had 17 carries for 52 yards. He also had 10 freaking catches for 88 yards. Christian McCaffrey is doing a lot of stuff out of the backfield. I mean, he's the perfect dink and dunk type of running back. He's so good in the passing game, and he's been great in the passing game for the entire season. So I'm not shocked to see that stat line, but 10 catches is absurd. I knew he had a lot, but after the game, looking at the box score, seeing that he had 10 catches was like, holy shit. McCaffrey does it week in and week out of the backfield. Not surprised. Kendrick Bourne had a pretty productive day. 4 catches for 38 yards. I thought he played pretty well for the most part. And then Mac Jones, obviously just can't get anything going in the red zone for some reason. The 49ers have struggled with that all year. I'll be interested to see if, Purdy likely coming back next week, if that's going to change at all. The 49ers have to get better in the red zone. But I thought Mac Jones overall played okay, played fine, had the interception, which he can't have, but obviously ultimately, was able to lead the 49ers down there, get in field goal range, and that led to Eddie Piñeiro's game winner. Eddie Piñeiro, shout out to him as well. Perfect on field goals today, perfect on extra points, split the uprights on that game winner. Feels good to have a kicker like Eddie Piñeiro. I can tell you this, I'm not nearly as nervous watching Eddie Piñeiro as I was with Jake Moody. And Jake Moody would probably have missed that kick. So shout out to Eddie Piñeiro. Massive win for the Niners. Good team win overall. They showed resilience today. Robert Sala and the defense had another good day. Again, to me, the guys that stood out, Upton Stout, Michael Williams, Fred Warner defensively. And then you look at the offense, Ricky Pearsall, Christian McCaffrey. Again, I think Mac Jones was able to, distribute the ball pretty well. So yeah, I can't be mad. Big win for the Niners. Obviously, 2-0 with Mac Jones. They 3-0 record, going in, staying at home next week versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, where they should have Brock Purdy back. So big win. Super pumped about this one. They just battled to the end. Defense showed up when we needed them once again. Yeah, big win. Niners are 3-0. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below on this game. As always, go Niners. I will see you guys in the next one.